7-1, The Ticket.
We're brought to you by Buff Whalen Chevrolet. Yesterday, the Detroit Red Wings introduced their new general manager. His name is Steve Yzerman, who in turn announced he will retain head coach Jeff Blashill. Wings gave him a 2-year contract extension towards the end of the regular season. On the hiring of the former Red Wings star, team owner Chris Ilitch.
When Steve had made the decision he was going to step down, and then we saw in media reports he wanted to be back with his family in Detroit. Ken and I, we get together on a regular basis, and at our next meeting, we certainly talked about that, and we both agreed it would be great to bring Steve back to the Detroit Red Wings.
White Sox beat up the Tigers 7-3 despite 3 solo homers for the Tigers, one each from Harrison, Griner, and Goodermo solo shots. Danny Norris will try it today from Comerica Park against the Sox right here on The Ticket. Our first pitch is at 1:10. Michigan State All-American guard Cassius Winston will stick around for his senior year, while teammate Nick Ward is heading to the NBA. Pistons host the Bucks tonight in that first-round playoff series, trailing 0-2. 8 p.m. You can hear it right here on The Ticket. Milwaukee a 9-point favorite. Blake Griffin, a game-time decision. NBA playoffs last night. Raptors go up 2-1 over Orlando. 98-93. Celtics lead the Pacers 3-0 with a 104-96 win. Thunder over Portland 120-1 away. Portland leads it 2-1. Stanley Cup playoffs 2 games. Colorado ending Calgary's dreams 5-1. They win that series in 5 games. And Toronto beating Boston 2-1. They lead that series 3-2. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 9701theticket.com.
The following is a paid program. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Entercom Communications, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Alrighty, welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. Alongside of me, Harry Glantz.
What's up, my man? Happy holiday weekend, happy Easter weekend, happy Passover weekend, and we're riding the mojo, Harvey.
Yeah, man, we got spring is in the air coming up tomorrow anyways. It's going to be the last chilly day here. They say 50 and rainy today.
Yeah, but you know what else is in the air, Harvey? Home buying season has been going crazy. All right, we have 2 experts in the studio that's going to tell us what to do and what not to do during a transaction. But the purchase market right now it's as strong, if not stronger, than in the last 7 years. We've talked about it since 2012. It's been crazy out there. Offers coming in, and we have to ride the momentum, and that's why we're here today.
Here, why we, of course, are riding this momentum, we bring in the great Drew Colburn, better known as the great Rochester Hills agent. He's been out there doing this forever. Drew, welcome to the show.
Top of the morning to you. How are you?
All right, good.
You know what, man?
You haven't been on in a couple of years, but you've been on a couple times before. Yeah, you're
Yes.
voice of real estate all around Southeast Michigan. We also bring in Randy Glantz from Clark Hill, of course, expert divorce attorney, and there's a lot of that in there, sorry to say, Randy, but hey, happy to keep you busy, okay? Things that families can do and not do. We're going to talk all about it this morning at 248-539-9797. We're brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, a 1-800 low rate, the best mortgage banker, and always powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Folks, this is a 1-hour show, and we're going to share some great information with you. Drew, as Harry says, boy, this home buying season of 2019 shaping up real nicely. And you already, yesterday I had 2 closings. Now you're running around today, 2 or 3 offers, and anywhere from Rochester all the way through Ann Arbor.
Yeah, it's amazing. 13 million first quarter sold and closed. Unbelievable. Multiple offers on a lot of properties. Interesting. You can buy a home in the 6, 7, 8 million mark that you can't build. It'll cost you twice as much to build. So used homes are the steal. If you're under the $300,000 mark, you definitely need to get with these guys and get a DU approval. I'm not accepting pre-approvals because they don't hold the weight. So give these guys a call, have them run you credit, have them run your finances, get your tax returns into them so you can present a solid offer with proof of funds.
Is that true still? I mean, people are still putting out letters that don't carry the weight that they're printed on.
I wish I could tell you that's incorrect, but
why
it's
would somebody
so
sign their name to a letter that's never going to come true? Maybe why we have an attorney in here, but why would you ever put your name on something? And when you say a pre-approval, Harvey will tell you this, and you know from experience, you have to see people's tax returns, their financials. Where are you getting the money from to go ahead and purchase this property? I mean, don't you have to verify that?
Folks, there are more potholes in the mortgage industry than there is in Michigan.
I knew he was going there.
So you
fix
have
the damn roads, brother.
Exactly, but you have to apply to analytics. get the tax returns, get your pay stubs in, do the extra effort, or you're not going to buy a property. I'm not even going to look at a pre-approval. I'm going to throw that offer on the table and tell my folks, hey, why are we going to look at this one? I don't know the mortgage company. It says pre-approval all over it.
Right.
I want someone that's been verified. I want to see proof of funds.
Well, you want to know who you're doing business with, and there are do's and don'ts in every industry, right? There are do's and don'ts in the real estate industry. You are not, this is a don't, you are not going to take somebody out, drive them around your car, or even meet them at a house unless you know that they can that they're pre-approved, bona fide pre-approval for that property. We know that, so you're not going to do that. There are also things that people go through when they want to buy a house. Unfortunately, a lot of people get divorced, okay? And all of a sudden, they want to move out. Okay, they want to start moving money around, move out. I'm moving out. I'm getting out of here. And Randy Gland's been practicing law for 28 years in the area, specialized in family law. That's a fancy way of saying divorce, but it's family law. And you just can't start moving money around, can you? I mean, what do you do?
You can do a lot of things. There are things that you shouldn't do, and that would be one of them.
All right. What else? I mean, so I don't want to live with you anymore. What do I have to do?
Oh, no.
Well, you've been living with me for a long time. So if you want to no longer live with me, it's going to take a long time for that to happen.
Right.
You have to be patient. You have to provide transparency. You need to provide a comprehensive list of assets, liabilities. If you have a home and one of you is going to stay in the home and the other person's going to purchase another home, well, there's a process. You have to know how much money you're going to have and how long it's going to take for those funds to be liquidated.
Like I said, there's a process. A process just about anything that's going to go down the right way. You have to put a plan together. And Drew, you talked about it. If you're in that market between, let's say, 100,000 beginning starter homes all the way through 300,000, it's not just a piece of paper that says pre-approval. That's not going to work. You want to verify, because you're representing the seller, you want to verify that they do have the funds to close. And you mentioned something that's a little bit, it's foreign language to some folks, the DU approval, where the file's already been underwritten, and then we're actually supporting that underwriting decision with documentation to show that this can go down in 30 days or less.
When I'm representing a seller and I see the DU approval, it calms all nerves, because we don't want to take a house off the market, lose time, and we can lose 30 days and get a denial. We don't do that in my practice. Applied analytics, folks. Just do the homework, get the proof of funds. We're not going to take a home off the market unless we have that DU approval, unless you're already underwritten. And these guys can do it better than anyone else in Southeast Michigan.
Thanks, Drew. There's no doubt about it. Purchasing a home, you got to get your ducks in a row, the knowledge, the funds, the assets, the income, the credit. You put all these things together, and then you're able to sit down with real professionals and go ahead and make offers with some confidence. I don't know if anyone's just shotgunning it anymore, but it's just not going to happen that way.
You know, Harvey, Randy, and Drew, what happens is in our business, much like everybody's business, it has to stay confidential. So when Drew talks about go ahead and verifying assets and tax returns and everybody's financial statements and all that, we do that in-house. But when Drew or his, coworkers and compatriots in the real estate industry want to call and ask us questions, we don't disclose people's income. We don't disclose their assets. We just verify that they have the income and assets. And as he said, we've run it through our DU system, which is a direct underwriting system. And we also have manual underwriters as well. So we have a backup plan. We have the DU, we have the manual underwriter, because you want to know something? On that DU approval, it could miss some things.
Yeah.
It does, right?
It's only as good as the information that's put into the the file to begin with.
However, it's about 7 billion times better than a pre-approval letter.
Well, I'm with you on that. I agree wholeheartedly with that. And you should have all the information. So exactly, that's my point.
And these guys aren't going to give me your credit score. They're not going to give me your assets. They're not going to give me your tax returns. And I don't want it. I want a piece of paper that says they verified everything.
You just want to sell houses. Yeah. You just want us buying and sell
I want to
houses.
represent my seller in the best light possible. Yep. That's my job.
Yeah. So Randy,
I was going to throw the number out there, 248-539-9797. We'll give you 1 hour to the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Again, we always got a very interesting thing in here when we've got a lot of energy and a lot of knowledge, because still some families are just they don't have the confidence to really, Drew, sit down and get the process started. And I think a lot of things you need to do, you have to sit down and get organized. A lot of times we can fix up your credit. A lot of times we can get your funds together. And, of course, this time of year, some families have just filed their tax returns, Harry. Right. Again, it was just they were due by Monday. You've got to complete those if you want to use your income for 2018.
Yeah, we're big believers in sitting down with people and right in front of them and having that relationship and talking to them. I mean, there's only certain things you can do over the phone over the internet, text, email, and all those kind of things. So Randy and Drew, when you are meeting with your clients, okay, take me through that process when you meet with your client and you go over, whatever issues that they have. I mean, you probably start with an initial phone call or maybe an email, but then when do you get together with them, Randy?
Well, I usually do start with a brief phone call, but I think it's important to sit down and meet face to face. Number one, if they're going to be retaining me to represent them, our relationship is going to be a close one. We're going to spend a lot of time together. We need to connect, and I'm sure it's the same in the real estate industry.
Exactly. Face to face is the best. Let's talk. Let's figure out needs and wants, and let's get together and sit down. Let's introduce you to professionals, whether you're going through a life change like a divorce or you need a mortgage. Let's introduce you to professionals that have your back.
There you go.
And you have to put a plan in place. You need to understand the dynamics of the relationship, the dynamics of the family, and see what the issues are.
All right, what we're starting it off with is sit down with your professional, get your whole team together, and give us a call here at 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Beautiful.
97.1 The Ticket.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Up to the show 917. If you're just joining us, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Hey, we take your calls here live in the studio up till 10 o'clock, 248-539-9797. Keep it here. There's going to be Tiger Baseball later today. And, of course, we got Dan Dickerson and Jim Price. I love those guys on the radio. They're outstanding. I don't even watch games on TV anymore, Harry. I'm outside listening to the radio. I'm a radio guy, of course.
Well, if you're old school and you really like the announcers, what you do is you watch TV to turn the radio to listen to the announcers.
Oh my God, it's such a Randy Alley move. My dad totally does it, and it's because it's like you hear it first. We'd always be like clapping before it, and we're like, "What? What happened?"
Yeah.
People still do that. They just watch the TV. They turn the TV down, the sound down, and then they go ahead and they listen to the radio for the sound.
And nothing against the TV broadcasting, too. They're doing a great job.
No, but they do. I agree with you. They do a really good job.
There you go. Hey, we got Mike calling in from South Rockwood. Hey, Mike. Good morning. Welcome to our show. What's your question?
My question is, we're in our 70s, and we've been in this house since 2004, and we have had an adjustable rate mortgage, which worked out for us until the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we're currently at 4.75.
Yeah.
And we plan on staying in the house probably another 4 or 5 years at the most.
Okay, Mike, so since I'm closer to your age than anybody in this room combined, okay, I'm going to tell you this, that the adjustable rate for you right now, that's worn out. That's done. What I would do for you, what I would say to you is we'll get a hold of you, and we have to take a look at fixing that rate. You don't want that rate to go up any higher, and it can. I'm not saying that it will, but I'm saying that right now mortgage rates are lower than your adjustable rate, so you should fix it, and you should be done with it, and you should say to yourself, you know what? The last 6, 7, 8 years have been really good for my adjustable rate.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to fix it, and you made out. You beat the system. But any more that you let it go, that you don't do it, you're going to start giving money back.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
We were wondering because of the time frame whether we should go ahead and refinance because of the closing costs that you have.
Well, we'll do the math, and I'm sure we can keep the closing costs as low as they possibly can be, and we'll do the math, and we will tell you what the payback period of that would be. So in other words, if it's too long, I wouldn't do it. But we're going to go ahead and we'll do the math, and we'll tell you, does it make sense for you to do it, or doesn't it make sense for you to do it? And we'll give you an objective opinion, and Harvey and I will do the math for you. Becky, whomever you want us to handle it. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to give you a shot at it.
Hey, Mike, there's new adjustable rates out there, too, that could actually work for you. Like you said, you might only stay in the house for 4 or 5 years. But, Mike, let me ask you this. You sound like you're in great
Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by the LaFontaine Automotive Group, the family deal.
97.1 The Ticket.
Welcome back to the show. We're broadcast till 10 o'clock. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Call us all week. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Always live here in the studio till 10 o'clock. 248-539-9797. We bring a divorce attorney in, Randy Glantz. Of course, always can talk about things that are going on when you're getting divorced. And, of course, we got Drew Colburn in, who's a professional real estate agent and, of course, great office down in Rochester Hills. What's awesome about home purchasing this time of year is it's always exciting and stuff. But, Randy, you run into this is, yes, sometimes families are going to break apart, and it's a sad thing, and they're trying to work things out. But if they are level-headed, they can sit down and come to an agreement before their divorce and buy. They can purchase a house
While
before
you're
the
going for a divorce, right?
But they need separation agreements. Explain that a little bit.
Yeah, there are, believe it or not, people who are actually amicable with each other. They sit down and they have a conversation. They determine early what the plan's going to be. If one of them is going to stay in the home, figure out what the equity in the home is, hire maybe a certified appraiser to help them with that and figure out what the balance on their mortgage is. And that is a number that probably the other side is going to have available once those funds are liquidated to purchase another home or condo or some other established residence.
What's great about it, too, Randy, is a lot of times is it just makes the family and the transfer, and again, a lot of stress that can be involved in this. If you're amicable with your ex-wife, why not even make it easier on your kids and everyone else involved?
Well, that's really the most important thing. So if they do have children, ideally it's best for them to sit down together and maybe even go look at homes together for that other spouse, because that's where the kids are going to be maybe half the time. So there are ways of doing it, and it doesn't have to be bitter and nasty. It can be actually very reasonable and rational.
It has to be reasonable and rational. And I'm a divorced dad. You have some choices in life. And when you bring little ones into the world, they should be your first concern. And take the temper down, listen to your attorney, get a realtor and mortgage guy involved, and figure out how you're going to put roofs over their heads and separate and be done.
A lot of times what I will do at the beginning stages, because we need to have a budget, we need to understand if the person who's going to be moving out, or maybe both of them are. The house is going to be sold. And if we just started a divorce, but here's the selling season, do we want to wait until the divorce is over? Probably not. We're going to lose valuable time.
No, let's get an agreement in place. Let's start looking at properties before we sell, because we're going to have to look at school districts. And sometimes, I was an Oakland Township guy. I couldn't afford Oakland Township anymore. I moved out of Oakland Township, now moving back in. But you got to figure out where the kids are going to go to school. And that's most important in budgets. You're going to downsize. You're going to split assets a lot of times. So I'm happy to sit with your attorney. I applaud a lot of attorneys in the area will call me and say, hey, I have a counsel. I have a couple coming in, and we need to figure this out. Can you give me some advice?
And normally I would come to you as a real estate expert and say, hey, can you go into the house? Can you tell the parties what they need to do to maximize their potential? They might need a little bit of work before the house is ready to be sold.
Boy, Drew, in other words, we've seen some appraisals that come back. One party orders the appraisal, and it comes back real high. They need that money out. They're going to split it. The other one comes back a little low. Somewhere in between there's always a transaction or a deal.
I just did one, and I won't say the city. It was a divorced couple. They were fighting bitterly. I was representing my buyer. Because they were fighting bitterly, the property was in disrepair. They had to go through both attorneys and a mediator to get anything done. You know what? It was great for my client. We bought it $100,000 below market. So if you guys are going to fight, you're going to lose money. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
That's a very important factor, because a lot of times we will discuss that. The fact that we don't want to disclose the divorce, because as a seller, you want to maximize your potential. A buyer coming in knowing that this is a divorced couple, they want to get rid of the property, they're going to do what you did.
There you go. Hey,
As a buyer's agent, I represent my buyer. All is fair in love and war, and I'm going to get the best deal for that buyer no matter what.
Don't give away that motivation. You find out that motivation, you're going to use it to your advantage.
I run Oakland-Macomb County Court Reporter to find out what they're doing.
There you go.
If they, what's happening. We use social media a lot of times to figure out what's going on. So that's great advice. I mean, don't disclose. Be amicable.
There's a lot of things you can do. I like that stuff. You're going behind the scenes here. Hey, let's move off to a call, and we'll continue this. 248-539-9797. Moving to our first call this morning. John out there in Farmington Hills. Good morning, John. Welcome to our show.
Hey, how you doing?
Real
Morning,
good.
John.
Go ahead with your question, sir.
All right, so I have a question. I'm a first-time home buyer. I'm kind of a young guy. I'm 30. I've rented my whole entire life, but there's a house I want to buy in Detroit. It's a fixer-upper, and the house is only sold for it's selling for $60,000, and I'm kind of having trouble trying to find a place that'll give me a mortgage for a first-time mortgage for that low. So I was just wondering what your advice for. And I have a lot of friends who are actually trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And are finding the same kind of challenges.
Well, first of all, you shouldn't have a problem finding a house. I mean, a mortgage for, in the $60,000 range. That's number one. Number two, you can do a rehab loan on it too if you're going to fix it up. I mean, what kind of shape is the house in? Is it going to pass an inspection right now when you buy the house? I mean, give me a little bit of information about the house.
It won't pass the inspection right now, but I have a couple friends who own a construction company. For me and the situation I'm in, this is the perfect house because I can do all that myself. And
FHA 203K.
Yeah,
Right.
It sounds like you're a candidate for a renovation loan, whether it be the FHA 203K or the conventional products that are out there. John, this is pretty easy. If you qualify for the loan, you are going to be able to get your hands on the money. Now, as long as your friends are licensed and insured construction guys, yes, they can do all the work for you.
Right.
That's the key.
What are you being told? What negative information, or we like to call it inaccurate information, are you getting?
So I talked to a couple friends and that are in the mortgage field, and they said that it's kind of hard to get mortgages for under $100,000.
No.
Untrue.
No.
Yeah, that's untrue.
But that's not true at all.
No.
I mean,
No.
I've heard this from probably like 5 different people, and like I said,
Well, they just make less on that mortgage, so they don't want to do it.
Hey, Harvey will talk to you after the show, and we'll point you in the right direction. And he's an expert. He's been doing this over 28 years, and he'll put you in the right direction.
All right.
Hey, John, thanks for the call. Follow up with you right after the show here, 248-539-9797. Sometimes it's as simple as getting them that strong approval letter, again, running their information, and before you know it, he hopefully will be calling us back in a couple months to tell us how it all worked out.
Listen, the common theme I'm hearing, and when we bring a team of people on, whether attorneys, accountants, financial planners, realtors, you got to have a plan. Okay, here's John. He's been calling people. Maybe he's been getting some bad information. Harvey, you'll figure that out. But you have to have a plan. What's the plan? If he's looking at properties that need some rehab work, there are rehab loans, FHA 203K. There's Fannie Freddie product out there. You just have to get with somebody that knows your situation, and you have to have a plan.
That's it. The plan's everything. Of course, Drew, as you know, it's as simple as once you get your purchase agreement accepted on a loan like that, we get a cost consultant to meet you at the property. They go over all the items that are required to make health and safety issues so that you can move forward and close. And if it's a city that requires a city search, they get that done. But then you can move on to if you need to knock a wall down, or redo the kitchen, the bathrooms, the floors, the roof. All these things can be done with the renovation loan. Just get the professionals in there. They have to complete the work in a timely manner. And as long as your friends are, again, licensed, insured, they can be the ones to do the work. Drew, you've had these experiences.
First of all, you got to deal with a trusted professional. Second of all, communication is key. I've been into $60,000, $50,000, $30,000 deals where the seller will make some of the repairs just to get it over the curb. So you need a real estate professional that can talk intelligently on what needs to be done so you can get that loan, whether you just want to go conventional. Sometimes it's just handrails. Shabby chic 1970s decor doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. You can go ahead and
health and
close it.
safety issues, right? Handrails, you need your
toilets,
GFI plugs, your plumbing's got to
water.
work. Sure. I mean, there are all a lot of health and safety issues on there. Steps going down into the backyard have to be there. If you have no step on your deck and it's 3 feet high, you better put a couple steps in there.
A lot of times those are fixable for a couple $100,
Right.
and the homeowner will do that just to sell the house.
Exactly.
All right, you can purchase a house in a lot of different ways. Give us a call here in the studio, 248-539-9797. Lots to talk about. As we started talking about these renovation loans, of course, yes, our city's coming back. The big city of Detroit's coming back. But we do see these opportunities across other cities too, Drew. In Rochester Hills, there's some pockets that, haven't been renovated. The families have lived there. They moved in the late 60s or whatever. They haven't been touched, and now they're moving out, and there's some opportunity there for other people to come in.
From $90,000 to $800-900. I'm seeing some properties in Oakland Township built in '92 haven't been touched.
Mm-hmm.
They're great opportunities for someone that wants to put some elbow grease in and get some sweat equity.
All right. Again, first-time buyers out there, would you believe it or not, 43% of them are single. 79% are heavy on the debt, and 26% of first-time home buyers here have really bad credit. So, again, no matter where you fall in the situation, there's some remedies for you. And, again, as we talk about professional people and getting out in front of that, what you're looking to do, really getting the knowledge behind you and that confidence so that you can go ahead and make those offers and move forward with the home ownership.
Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation out there that it's tougher to get a loan nowadays than ever before. We just had a caller, John, said, hey, you can't get a loan under $100,000. First of all, that's not true. Second of all, first-time home buyer program out there with little money down. FHA put 3.5% down. You've got Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae allowing you to put down 3%. You've got VA loans, okay, to help our veterans, and it's 0 down. All right, so there's all kinds of programs out there, but the bottom line is, you should have a pretty good credit score. If your credit score is under a certain score, we might be able to take a look at it and help you get it up. And we don't charge money. You're not going to write us a $500 check to help you go and put your credit score where it should be.
All right, these real estate markets change all the time. Stay tuned. We got a whole bunch of things to clear up for you. Sometimes these markets change. We'll show you how to navigate through it. 248-539-9797.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Welcome back. All right, this is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. That's where you'll find us all week long. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker, all weekend long with Ronnie J in the office. That's right, give Ron a call. He'll get you a real approval letter. And that's what I'm actually going to sort of start off this segment with is a real approval letter in there. And you see it all the time. You talk to people. And, I had a couple referrals out here this week. And one of the referrals came over and she said, Harvey, she told me she was pre-approved. And the first question, so when I got involved with this client was, hey, have you got together these documents and sat down? The answer is no. And it blows my mind still that there might be lenders out there across the United States, even in here in our own backyard, that are giving, these pre-approvals, but they're not even educating the clients here. And that's what scares me. And I think you've run across a few of these. I mean, have you had this experience?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's to be honest with you, it's terrifying. Just for these, in my wheelhouse, these first-time buyers, they're talking to these mortgage bankers that are just kind of, lack of better terms, kind of blowing smoke, not going and being detailed and not going through the whole process and making sure that they are.
So, Aaron, Harvey's being the nice guy here.
Yeah, we call it the tissue paper pre-approval.
Yes, here it is. Harvey's being the nice guy here, so I won't be the nice guy here.
Okay.
Harvey says there might be lenders out.
Yes.
Might be. No.
Yes.
Everybody out there are. And I call them, I call those approval letters, they're on tissue paper. Okay, they're not real.
I like it.
They're going to disintegrate.
You can see right through them.
That's right. If a lender hasn't looked at your financial profile, tax returns, paycheck statements, your assets, when you buy a house, the most important thing is, where's the money coming from?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And in this day and age, we have to verify every penny of where the down payment and the closing costs come from. You need assets to buy a house. Now, albeit there might be some programs that have limited assets, which is fine.
Yeah.
We still, if you're putting $5,000 down, we have to verify $5,000. If you're putting $3,000 down, we need to verify $3,000. So we kind of work backwards when you're buying a house. And Harvey is being the nicest guy he can possibly be.
I'm not nice at all.
Right, so.
Let's go to some of these callers, though. 248-539-9797. Allie, got a first-time caller calling in. Allie's calling in on a cell phone. Hey, Allie, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you guys?
Real good. What's happening?
I'm assuming to be first-time home buyer, and I was just wondering what advice you can give me when starting to look at houses.
Well, I think, Allie, the first thing that Becky and I would tell you, and then we'll segue it over to the real estate agent, is probably sit with a true...
Sports news all day, every day. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
Brought to you by National Benefit Plans. Tiger Baseball today right here on 97.1. The Ticket at 110 from Comerica Park. Daniel Norris on the mound for the Tigers against the White Sox, who beat up the Tigers 7-3 last night, despite home runs from Harrison, Griner, and Goodrum, all solo shots for Detroit. Yesterday, you heard a live right here on 97.1. The Ticket is the Red Wings named Hall of Famer Steve Eisman as their general manager, who announced then he will retain head coach Jeff Blashill. Meanwhile, Pistons tonight against the Bucks at the LCA right here on the Ticket. Pistons trailing the best-of-7 first-round series 0-2. Blake Griffin is set to be a game-time decision. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 97to1theticket.com.
The only way you can take 97.1 The Ticket with you is the radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
97.1 The Ticket.
Alrighty, welcome back. It is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, again brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE, that's where you can find us all week long, all weekend long. Get that real approval letter. Yeah, that means something different. And again, get some professional advice. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. We always take your calls here live in the studio. 248-539-9797. We got Drew Colburn in from Colburn McDonald & Associates, Rochester Hills, great real estate office. And, of course, Randy Glantz filling in her. Always, she does her appearance. This is your first appearance of 2019. Great to have you here from Clark Hill. And again,
it's like a kumbaya moment, okay? There's no adversity. You've got mortgage people sitting in with attorneys and realtors.
It's always good.
Okay? Yeah, and we're holding hands. We're singing songs. We're giving advice. It's amazing.
And she skipped Orange Theory this morning.
She's
you guys
making
are
it go this afternoon.
You guys are all into that stuff. Hey, Drew, there's no doubt the market always has been changed in the last 2 years. Buyers were offering everything, including their firstborn child, to get their offer accepted. Here you go, 2019 inventory still a little bit on the lighter side, unless you're into maybe $500,000 and above. What do you see in a change here in 19?
2 months ago, we had 4 months of supply on the market. As of today, this morning, 2.3 months of supply. It's dwindling quick. The weather hasn't broke. A lot of fair weather put my house on the market. People haven't listed yet. If you're in affordable housing from $60,000 to $400,000, it's so tight. You need to come prepared. Sharpen your sword. Get your stuff together. Proper analytics all apply. And get a realtor that knows the market. Get a local professional that knows the school system, that can introduce you to the athletic director or the principal of the high school. That's important. Get mortgage guys like these guys. They ain't pretty, but they're good.
Fantastic. 248-539-97. I don't even have anything written here. I said, hey, well, what about all you real estate gurus out there? I've been selling homes nonstop. I mean, you walk someone in a house, like you said, in that price range, you better have your pencil sharpened because you're writing an offer.
Because you're going to fall in love with a house, and if you don't have your stuff together, it's going to sell tomorrow while you're trying to get your DU approval, talk to your mortgage guy, figure out what your financial planner wants. All that stuff has to be done walking into the war.
You opened me up to this next question. That's why that knowledge of your backyard, you have to have that knowledge, Drew, accurate pricing. That way you understand that if the house is on the market, let's say for $325,000, you know that you have some flexibility. Even if you have to overpay to $335,000, $345,000, you know the market. You're confident making that move. If it costs you $10,000 to get the house offer accepted.
So I pay $20,000 more for the property. What's that cost me in a 30-year mortgage?
Right.
Not a lot. You might have to don't have to redo the kitchen.
And we said this on the show, and I said I wouldn't say it to everybody because it's all situational. It's like baseball. It depends on the situation. I wouldn't say this normally, but if you want to be in an area and you like the area and you love the schools and you love the location, because let's face it, we could drive where we work. You have to live where you want to live, Drew. Sometimes you have to overpay. If you want to be there, sometimes you have to overpay. So if the market is taking all these offers and they're a little bit overpriced, maybe in the 5, 6, 7, 8,000, what is that over a 30-year fixed rate mortgage? It's just nothing to be in that location that you want. Again, I'm not recommending it for everybody. I'm just not. But sometimes you have to overpay.
Drew,
however, I find a lot of times with people, they look at this like it was 1992 again, that they're going to make 700% return on their property, and they're so worried about the number, they forget about the fact that they have to live in it. They have to raise their family there. Your personal property is a lifestyle. It is a great investment. Don't get me wrong. 3 to 5% a year. If you're in some communities right now, you're going to see 7 to 15%. But your primary residence is where you're going to raise your family. Don't focus on the investment. Focus on the neighborhood. Focus on the schools. Focus on the deal.
Right.
And 20 grand more is, $30, $40 a month. Okay, so you cut down on the Diet Cokes for a month and pay for it.
Yep. There's always a way to shave off a few dollars to save and make it work for your family. And like I said, if you fall in love with the house and you don't have to redo the kitchen, the bathrooms, it's got these things that are done. The roof has plenty of life left in it if it's a newer roof and the utilities, everything else is pretty new in it. Then you can make that move to maybe spend a little bit more out of your budget.
I did $38 million of new construction representation last year. Mm-hmm. That $38 million of new construction representation, no matter what the house was, from $100,000 to I'm doing a $10 million. Today is up 40%.
Oh, boy.
So your cost of construction on your kitchen, folks, is up 40% for last year. So instead of paying $100,000 to drop a new kitchen in, maybe offer 20 grand over asking price and win the home of your dreams.
So Drew and Randy, you have, and Drew, you work with people that are coming out of a divorce situation. So Drew and Randy, how do we get people to qualify? Randy, how do you get people that have never had credit, never had a mortgage in their own name, never had assets or anything like that? And how do we get them a mortgage?
Well, that's a very good question, and it's usually something that I pose to a mortgage lender or a real estate broker, because I represent both men and women, probably equally. But I have a situation right now where I've got a young man they were a young couple when they got married. They're getting divorced. He's not on the mortgage of their current home. He's got to find another home. I'm not sure if he's got the credit or the history that's going to qualify him for a reasonably priced home. Now, our final order, our final judgment of divorce is going to provide him a certain amount of support. But again, it's going to be up to a mortgage lender, a bank, or Capital Mortgage Funding, to make certain that he is going to be a qualified person under a new purchase of a home. So I'm looking for your expertise, and I'm looking for the expertise of a real estate agent who's going to be realistic with this young man, because he wants to be in a new home. He wants to have something that he's going to afford. He might have to overextend himself a little bit, but he's got to qualify. And if I've got a judgment that says he's going to get X amount of dollars for child support or maybe even spousal support, how much time do you need to see those payments?
Even if he was a stay-at-home dad, right? So he raised the kids. They're getting a divorce. Stuff happens, folks. Now, he or she who didn't work, what do, Harvey?
Yeah, they better get their ducks in a row quickly. Sometimes they end up being renters. But again, the credit component's very important. If you're in a married situation now, of course, your life's all great and everything. Yes, make sure you are establishing lines of credit. If you're not on your current mortgage or your home equity loan or your car loans, it's time to really maybe look at the spot. I don't know. You're not giving away. Hey, I'm going to be divorcing you soon, honey.
So the judgment of divorce hits today.
Yes.
I haven't worked. I was a stay-at-home dad. How long do I have to wait till
You're looking for at least 3 months with that income. We can document that income's coming in, and once you have that income coming in, and you can show the income coming in. So
that's child support and alimony. I don't have to work.
Again, now child support you might get, but your 16-year-old child, it's not going to be for 3 years oncoming, so you can't use that income. So again, every file is going to have a little difference in what's going to be taking place, what the family qualifies for. Again, how many years do you have that income coming in?
Right. We have to prove that there's 3 years of continuous income. Okay, that's number one. 3 years.
And you're talking about spousal support.
Or it could be alimony too, for that matter, if it states
spousal support.
Alimony. Yes, I'm sorry. Or child support. Yes.
Yep. So we need to see
tough terms on me.
Yeah, 3. Well, that's legal terms. 3 years of continuous income. We need to show that. We need to see what your credit score is. We need to also see assets. Okay, so on a settlement, there's going to be money deposited into a bank account. We have to see that. We also, very important, we have to see the final judgment. We want to see the stamp. We want to see the signature of the judge. We want to know everything's final.
And you need to keep that final judgment around for a long time, because if you buy a house today and go to sell it 2 years from now and you're a divorced human being, we're going to need to see that final judgment for the title company to make sure that, as you see, Randy, I had this happen 2 years ago. I had a buddy call me and say, hey, listen, I was going through a divorce and I bought this house and now I'm going to sell it, and because my final divorce wasn't my divorce wasn't final, she's telling me that she has half my equity.
Well, that's a good point. And normally, when you finalize a judgment of divorce, you want to make certain that there are provisions in that judgment that say these are spouse one's assets and they are owned free and clear of any interest from the other party, and vice versa. Also, just as another protection, we always quitclaim properties. So we make sure we do, I've got a checklist at the end of a divorce. We make sure that we quitclaim that property into the person who is being awarded that property, so we don't have those issues at the last minute.
Yeah, Randy, a lot of times we'll see a divorce judgment and it says on there that the one person or the husband, let's say, for example, he's gonna have to refinance a house and do this over there. He might not qualify. He hasn't even worked. He might not even qualify to be able to refinance and take care of that.
If you're doing your homework as an attorney, you make sure that he has the ability to qualify.
Right. And
so if you've got $1 million mortgage on a home and you've got a home that's valued at $1.2 million, you better make sure that there's enough money in there regardless of whether he can qualify,
right,
that there's equity in that.
Yeah, putting that plan together, it's all key here. 9:40 if you just joined us. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll take all your calls. 248-539-9797. Welcome back to the show. We're in our last segment here, 9:47, and definitely keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket because it's going to be sports all day long right after this.
It's going to be a beautiful day.
And it's gorgeous outside. That's the sun if you don't recognize it, and definitely enjoy it because we got some rain tomorrow, going up to about 59 degrees today, so definitely get the windows down. Start working on the yard work. I'm just doing little sections at a time here. Just trying to get it all done, and by the time May rolls around,
we're doing it yourself.
Yeah, I love being outside here.
He's got a green thumb. He's got his little duckies he takes care of.
Are you doing that garden this year again?
Doing the garden here.
Cucumbers and tomatoes.
Yeah,
and
the
all
whole
those
deal.
things you do?
Yeah, I love it. Love that stuff. That's why home ownership is
fun. He puts on his little gardening hat and gloves.
Not quite. Hey, you got it on the Hardcore Mortgage Show here. 248-539-9797. I'm having some fun. I'm Harvey Freed, Harry Glanz, Becky Alley, and we brought in our great Aaron Boudreau. He's from X1 Realty, and that's in downtown Farmington, which is really fun. It's been great having you on here. Let's move off to some of these calls here. We got some good ones. Steve's got a question about buyers. Oh, okay. Hey, Steve from Ferndale. What's going on?
Hi.
Hey, Steve. Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah, I got a question. I just sold a house in Farmington. We just closed down it Thursday that my daughter and son-in-law are currently living in.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. They just bought a house in Oak Park. However, their seller is making it difficult because he will not commit to a closing date. The other interesting twist to all of this is all of the agents involved, mine, theirs, and the seller's agent are all work out of the same office.
Does the purchase agreement that they signed, does it have a? Yeah, it's got to have a closing date on it.
Purchase agreement's a legal document. It has to have a term on it, and the term has to say when the closing date, on or before.
I don't know that he's. That's what I would think too. That they have.
It's got to have a closing date.
Yeah, the purchase agreement that they signed to sell their house has a date on there. But let's take it a step further. What is that listing agent, telling you guys? What's the real truth here? What's going on? They haven't found a house. Where are we at with this?
It was supposed to be in the 23rd of this month, and now they're saying not till the 29th. My issue is that the house that they're currently living in, which is the one I just sold, I have to pay rent to my buyer.
Do me definitely, Steve. I'm going to give you some good advice here. Of course, an attorney's going to be involved here, but start documenting everything because any of these costs that you have to deal with after the fact, you're going to be able to recruit from the sellers. And a smart attorney and a smart listing agent and that broker should be heavily involved because pretty soon the hammer's going to come down on them.
Well, I would review the document. I would review the document first. The document has to have a date.
Yeah, and there's got to be an addendum done. There's got to be an extension. There's a whole process that goes into making sure that if you're not going to meet that contract date, that all parties are aware of what's going on, and you basically at that point reset a
I'm Jeff Lesson. How was your weekend? We celebrate his win, giving you a dozen Chrome Soft or Pro V1 balls with purchase of a twosome at the Bear or Tullymore, only at LessonOnGolf.com. Lesson on Golf, Sunday, 8 a.m., 97.1 The Ticket.
The Detroit Tigers host the Chicago White Sox. Pre-game today at 12:45 on 97.1 The Ticket.
There we are, back on the year, 9:45. That's right. Well, it's not going to feel like spring out there today, but definitely tomorrow. 65 and sunny, so hang in there. A little bit of wind out there, 40 mile an hour wind and 50 degrees
Easter,
today.
everybody.
This is it. Oh, great happy Easter to everyone out there listening.
Passover,
Passover. Enjoy your holiday weekend here. If you're just taking it off, again, we take all your calls here. 248-539-9797. We're open to Capital Mortgage all weekend long. Give us a call if you need that approval letter. Again, call us all week long. And here, of course, we're in the midst of a big refi boom going on here. Now, rates did improve a little bit yesterday. They a roller coaster ride. The best rates we've had started on about March 27th, Harry. There was a short window there of 7 to 10 days.
Right.
Be sure to still contact your mortgage professional. Call Capital Mortgage Funding. So many families getting out of their mortgage insurance, switching their term of their mortgage.
Yeah, but people are still falling back in their bad habits, okay? End of March, we called people up, and rates were the lowest they were in almost 3 years, right?
Yeah.
But then people say, but we know they're going lower. Well, first of all, if you know they're going lower, you need to pick the lotto numbers for me, okay? Because nobody knows that they're going lower. That's number one. Number two is that why would you miss an opportunity? Rates have actually gone up in the last 3 weeks. They've settled in pretty nicely, but they're, again, not as low as they were 3 weeks ago, but they're still low. So if you're on the fence, get off that fence now, lock it in, and we'll close you. But don't play that game. We don't play that game.
No, not at all.
If somebody tells you they know, it's like your stockbroker. If you have a stockbroker, I know that this stock's going up. You have to run from those people. Nobody knows what that happens there. I mean, It's amazing to me. Every year, I'm doing this 30 years. People know rates are going down.
I thought you had a crystal ball.
God, I do. It's on my desk. You know what it is? It's blank. There's nothing in it.
We did get them one. Refinancing, though, of course, paying off that land contract. This is a great time to do it again. Take advantage of low interest rates, or go ahead and reduce your term down to maybe a 15 or a 20-year mortgage. Great opportunities. If you could remove the mortgage insurance and drop the term, then you can really handle two things and really start building some equity up in your house. All right, let's move on to some calls here. 248-539-9797. We've got Joe on a cell phone. Good morning, Joe. Welcome to our show. Oh, here we go. Here you go, Joe. Hi, Joe.
I just got pre-approved for a home, to buy a home. And I'm looking in Sault Ste. Marie, as that's where my career took me. It's a 1,200 square foot home. There was a new furnace put in 2012, a new roof put on in 13, and then everything that was done in 2018 was new windows, siding, and insulation. I really like the home because it's right next to where I work. The one thing, I had my realtor look into it. They're asking $109,900 for the home, and she said that it sounds like they're only willing to come down to $104,900, which I don't buy that. I dug in a little deeper, and I found out who the owners of the home was, and it turns out that I know them a little bit, just on a small personal level.
So what are you trying to achieve? You're just trying to get the price lower?
I want to get the price lower, and how would you guys go about doing that now knowing the information I know?
If you have an acquaintance and I'm representing you and you have an acquaintance with the seller of the property, I would say, hey, put it in writing. Say, hey, these are the reasons why I want to buy the property. Oh, by the way, I know you, and here's my move, here's my situation. Present the property with the letter, but at the end of the day, if you're going to negotiate over $4,000 on a 109 home, maybe that's not your home. That's only going to cost you $12 a month, man. Just buy the home.
Not even that.
And I know that's peanuts over the lifetime. Do you think there's a chance you could get it for $95,000, knowing what we know about it?
Well, I'd have your realtor has to make any offer in writing that you ask him or her to do. So ask him or her to write the offer and present the offer. All they can do is say no.
Hey, Joe, how long has this house been on the marketplace? I'd hate to see you lose it and start playing the bidding war game, and now an investor steps in and all of a sudden he's got a rental and you don't have that house. How long has that particular home been on the market?
I've been looking at that house for over 18 months.
Well, that's a long time. At this point, Drew, at this point,
you
make
write
the offer. Make the offer. See where we're at.
And I can tell you this, guys, folks, your second biggest decision in life is real estate. Your first is who you marry, okay? So why are you getting cousin Ed that has sold 2 houses in his lifetime to represent you? Why are you going to a divorce attorney that has 4 months experience to do your complicated divorce? You got to deal with seasoned professionals. And my whole team is about 12 people. They will tell you we do not do verbal offers. We put everything in writing. We represent our clients to the best of our ability because our reputation is everything. So call your realtor up after you hang up the phone with us and say, I need you to write an offer for me for $95,000 and present it within the next 24 hours. And if he or she won't,
get another
fire them.
There you go. Move on.
My realtor, hey guys, my realtor told me that the selling agent had told her that if they don't like the offer, they won't even respond.
Well, that's okay. Put the offer in.
I mean,
and you know what?
That's nonsense. That means they have an unqualified agent. Drew. I'm going to throw it out there. You tell me if I'm stepping on someone. But hey, look, if there's a listing agent not
with
responding,
the first offer.
It's communication. Why are you waiting? You're not responding.
And as a listing agent, I posture all the time, and I posture hardcore for the benefit of my seller. However, I have a fiduciary responsibility. If Harvey writes me an offer for my property, I have to present the offer. So just present the offer. All they can do is say no. And if they don't respond, up the offer $500 every day of the week until you get to your limit. And at your limit, write a letter with that offer. This is why I'm offering it. You've been on the market for a year. It's Sault Ste. Marie. The market's a little colder. Down here, if it was a $95,000 home, it would have been sold 4 seconds ago.
Been gone already, yeah.
Right. Well, the thing I'm looking at is the market is going to go up in the Sioux in about 5 or 6 years because there's going to be about 300 or 400 new families moving into that town. With the federal government had passed a law to do a renovation project on the Sioux Locks.
Nice, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So the economy's really going to shift. So I think it's turning into a buyer's market. So
knowing what you know.
So yeah, exactly. Say
why
what you're
wouldn't you
say,
offer
Joe.
more and just
take the property?
Yeah,
buy the property if you know that.
That might move. I have to get it. I love the house. I love where it is. I just.
Well, I hope they're not listening because they won't negotiate with you there.
Exactly.
Joe, you sound like a great guy. We'd love to do business with you, and go ahead and make that offer. There's no doubt that.
If you have any questions, give us a call.
Yeah, there you go. And more importantly, the worst thing they can do is start to communicate. What is the stat? Oh, I'm not going to respond unless what is all that nonsense? That doesn't go on here anymore.
Wait, I'll give you another one. Doing this a long time. When you're a buyer, why do you feel bad making an offer? What are you worried about somebody saying no for? If they say no, you're at the same point where you started. Why do you feel bad? I don't get that.
Is that when you ask the girl to dance here? I can't ask her. She's going to say no to me.
Is there some?
Right. He's been married for 33 years. He doesn't remember asking a girl to a dance.
There's an old saying. She never said no to me.
He did.
Hey, let's move on to another call. Hey, guys, we got Colleen calling in from Ypsilanti. Good morning, Colleen. Welcome to our show. Go ahead.
Good morning. I have a question. I think you just spoke about homes being undervalued or underappraised.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're going through the same situation. We just went through, we're in the process of going through a refinance.
Yes.
And they came back after appraisal came in and said that based on an average of the homes that have sold in our area, that our home was averaging about $276. For all the other homes in the area, which are not as big as our home, doesn't have all the amenities of our home, sold for around $300,000.
Hey, Colleen, did you get an appraisal done? Is there an actual appraisal?
I do have one.
Okay, so yeah, a little bit more than that. So you've got a licensed appraiser who came there and used all the comparable sales to sort of demonstrate to you in this appraisal and this work of art that they put together, this is what's going on in the community. And based on those comparable sales, they came to this professional opinion that your house is worth, let's say, $276. Let me just ask you a general question, and then I'll let Harry jump in. He's more of an expert. On when did you buy this house, and how much?
We bought it for $282. And it's been about 10 years.
I'd let you know what, appraisals are my thing. I take a look at dozens of appraisals on a daily basis, and I rebut appraisals, and I rebut values, too. I'd like to take a look at that. You can email it to me, and we'll send you our email address after the show. I really want to take a look at it, but here's the situation. Your neighbors could have done you a disservice. There could be houses that, like you said, you could have the nicest house in the neighborhood. Okay, maybe you over-improved. Your house is probably beautiful. If your neighbors didn't sell their house for what you think your house is worth, and they sold it for a certain range, It's a market value situation. Those homes sold, and your house is going to appraise for that. But I'd like to take a look at it. But that's just a general explanation. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with it. I just look at a lot of appraisals on a daily basis.
Colleen, we'll follow up with you. I'm going to get that. We'll get an email out to you so you can go ahead and send this to us, and we'll definitely review it for you. There's no cost. Look, if things don't work out at one lender, you have options. You can always try some other people, and I hope you call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker, and that's where you can find Harry, myself, and our entire staff all week long. Hey, you guys, that music says that's it. This was awesome, and we went really fast. A lot of great information. We're going to bring you guys back together. That's how we do it here. Hey, Drew Colburn, want to thank you very much for coming in on late notice. Happy holidays to you and your family, and keep up the great work out there. We will be pouncing on you to get out there. What do you got to say? Last second here.
Hey, thank you, Harvey. Hey, you need to buy or sell Southeast Michigan, or just have a question, give me a call.
All right.
348-320-7007.
All right. Always call Capital Mortgage. Hook up with Drew Colburn. Of course, Randy Glantz with Clark Hill if you need a great divorce attorney. All right. Keep it here on 97.1. We got Tiger Baseball coming up at 12:45 is the broadcast. Keep it here. Pat Caputo with sports coming up next.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke.